A massive weather pattern flip is about to reshape America's winter. And what's coming will shock you. Temperatures are about to swing 60 degrees in some locations. 60 degrees! In less than a week! Right now, you're freezing. By this weekend, you'll be in shorts. Then Christmas arrives with temperatures that could shatter century-old records. At minute 4:30, I'll reveal which cities could hit 80 degrees before New Year's. And at 8 minutes 20 seconds, you'll discover why the West Coast is facing a month-long flooding crisis that emergency managers are calling catastrophic. Let's start with what's happening right this second. Wind chills across the Midwest are hitting -15 to -20 degrees Fahrenheit. That's dangerous cold. Frostbite in minutes cold. But here's what nobody's telling you. This Arctic blast, it's the last one you'll see for weeks. By Wednesday, the cold air retreats. By Thursday, it's gone, and what replaces it is something meteorologists are calling remarkable: a heat dome. In December, bringing temperatures 20 to 30 degrees above average, some locations 40 degrees above average. Chicago could see 60s, Dallas could hit 80s, Phoenix might approach 90 degrees. In mid-December, the temperature departure maps are lighting up red. Not just a little warm, drastically warm. Historically warm. But before we get there, we have to survive one more cold shot, and this one comes with a dangerous twist. Wednesday through Friday, a powerful storm system will track from the Pacific Northwest to the Northeast. This isn't your average winter storm. This is a wind event. Wind gusts will reach 60 to 70 miles per hour across multiple states. 70-mile-per-hour winds in December. That's hurricane force. On land, in winter, the damage potential is significant. Power lines will come down, trees will fall, travel will be dangerous, possibly deadly. And here's the kicker. While these destructive winds tear through the northern states, the South will be experiencing summer temperatures. Same day, same weather pattern, completely opposite conditions. Temperature contrasts like this breed violent weather. And violent weather is exactly what's possible Thursday afternoon. Keep watching because at minute 12, I'll show you why severe thunderstorms are likely across the Ohio Valley. In December, with potential tornado activity, first, let's understand the pattern driving all of this. The jet stream is doing something extraordinary. Right now, it's split into two distinct branches. One branch dives deep into the Pacific, collecting massive amounts of tropical moisture. That's your atmospheric river factory. Multiple systems lined up like planes waiting to land. The other branch swings far north through Alaska before plunging south through the Rockies. That's your Arctic air conveyor belt. These two branches are about to collide over the central United States, and when they do, the atmosphere explodes. The collision creates explosive storm development, rapidly intensifying low-pressure systems, extreme winds, temperature whiplash. All the ingredients for high-impact weather. But after that collision, after the storm passes, the pattern fundamentally changes. The Arctic branch lifts back north into Canada. The Pacific branch dominates, and warm air floods the entire country. Not just warm, exceptionally warm, abnormally warm, record-threatening warm. Climate Prediction Center is already showing it. Their 6 to 10-day outlook, above average temperatures from coast to coast. Their 14-day outlook, same thing. 28-day outlook, still warm. This isn't a brief warm-up. This is an extended pattern shift that will last through Christmas, through New Year's, possibly into mid-January. The Arctic Oscillation tells the story. After this weekend's cold shot, it goes positive, strongly positive, and stays there. Positive Arctic Oscillation means cold air stays locked in Canada. It can't penetrate south, the United States stays warm. We're looking at 3 to 4 weeks of predominantly above average temperatures, maybe longer. The pattern is that strong. Current temperatures paint a stark picture. Freezing temperatures stretch from Texas to northern Florida. Single digits across the Midwest and Ohio Valley. Negative temperatures in the northern plains. With wind chill? Even worse. -15 to -20 across large areas. That's life-threatening cold if you're exposed. But tomorrow? Already improving. Wednesday, much better. Thursday, you won't recognize the temperature map. By Thursday afternoon, southern states will be hitting the 70s and 80s. Northern states will be in the 40s and 50s. That's a 40 to 50 degree warm-up in 72 hours. Let me give you the day-by-day timeline because this transformation is rapid. Today, Monday, frigid, wind chills, brutal. Dangerous cold continues. High temperatures in the 20s across the Midwest, teens in the northern plains, 30s in the south. Tonight, Monday, another bitterly cold night. Lows in the single digits, negative temperatures in the Dakotas and Minnesota. Wind chills could hit -30 in some locations. Tuesday, cold begins retreating. Highs climb into the 30s and 40s in the Midwest, 50s and 60s in the South. Western states already hitting 60s and 70s. Tuesday night, last truly cold night for a while. Lows still below freezing across most of the eastern half. But improvement is coming. Wednesday morning, the transformation begins. Temperatures start climbing. 40s and 50s push into the Midwest. Southern states wake up to mild temperatures. Wednesday afternoon, storm energy moves inland from the Pacific. Low pressure develops over the northern Rockies. Snow begins in the Cascades and northern Rockies. Rain hammers the Pacific Northwest. Wednesday evening, low pressure intensifies. Winds increase. Isobars tighten. The storm is organizing. Thursday morning, peak storm intensity. Winds howling across the Dakotas, Nebraska, Kansas, and Minnesota. 60 to 70 mile-per-hour gusts. Thunderstorms develop ahead of the system. Arctic air follows behind. Thursday afternoon, warmth peaks in the south. Temperatures hit the 70s and 80s. At the same time, severe weather develops across Missouri and Kentucky as the warm air surges north. The storm system moves into the Ohio Valley. Thursday evening, severe weather threat continues. Damaging winds likely. Tornadoes possible. The storm shifts eastward. Cold air begins flooding back into the northern plains. Friday morning, freezing temperatures return to the Dakotas and Minnesota. Negative temperatures possible. Brutal wind chills. The whiplash from Thursday to Friday will be shocking. Friday afternoon, storm reaches the northeast. Mainly rain for most areas. Some snow in the mountains. Strong winds continue. Cold air spreads into the Great Lakes. Friday evening, Arctic air settles over the upper Midwest. But this time, it doesn't go far. Southern states remain warm. Saturday morning, another cold morning in the north. Teens and 20s, negative temperatures in northern Minnesota. But the south, still mild. 50s and 60s. Saturday afternoon, warmth dominates across the southern two-thirds of the country. 60s, 70s, even 80s from Texas to Florida. Northern states stuck in the 30s and 40s. Sunday, the pattern is now established. Warm south, cool but not cold north. This configuration will persist. Now, about those West Coast floods I mentioned at 8:20. This situation is evolving into a genuine disaster. Atmospheric rivers are lining up like dominoes, one after another, each one dumping 3 to 5 inches of rain. Some areas getting 8 to 10 inches per event. The National Weather Service has already issued flood warnings through December 28th. 28th! That's over 2 weeks of continuous flood risk. Washington, Oregon, Northern California, even Idaho and western Montana are in the crosshairs. Heavy rain, massive mountain snow, flooding rivers, mudslides, all of it happening repeatedly. Total rainfall through Christmas could exceed 20 inches in some coastal areas. 20 inches! That's nearly 2 feet of water in 2 weeks. Higher elevations will see snow. Lots of snow, 5 to 8 feet through this weekend alone. Some areas could see 10 to 15 feet by Christmas. That much snow is extraordinary, even for mountain areas accustomed to heavy snowfall. Avalanche danger will be extreme, travel impossible, ski resorts buried, but below snow level, catastrophic flooding is likely. Rivers are already running high, ground is saturated, more rain is coming. The math doesn't work. Major rivers will crest at or above record levels. Communities will flood. Roads will close. Bridges could fail. Evacuations are likely. This isn't speculation. This is already happening, and it's going to get worse before it gets better. The Climate Prediction Center shows above-average precipitation for the West Coast through the end of December. Not slightly above average, dramatically above average. High pressure in the Pacific, low pressure near the coast. This setup acts like a moisture conveyor belt, pulling tropical moisture directly into the West Coast. And it's not moving. This pattern is locked in place. Storm after storm will follow the same track, hitting the same areas over and over. Wednesday and Thursday target Washington, Oregon, and Northern California. Heavy rain, mountain snow, strong winds. Friday through Sunday, the pattern shifts slightly south. Central California gets hammered. More rain, more flooding, more problems. Next week, another system, and another. The parade doesn't stop. Landslide risk is extreme. Mudslide risk is extreme. Flash flooding risk is extreme. This is a multi-hazard event affecting millions of people for weeks. If you live in the Pacific Northwest or Northern California, you need to take this seriously. Monitor river levels, have evacuation plans, stock emergency supplies. This is real. Now, let's talk about that Wednesday through Friday storm for the central and eastern United States, because this system packs multiple punches. Punch 1, extreme winds. The pressure gradient with this system is exceptionally tight. When you see the weather maps, the isobars will be stacked, compressed. That visual alone tells you wind potential is high. 60 to 70 mile per hour gusts are likely across the Dakotas, Nebraska, Minnesota, and Wisconsin. That's destructive wind, tree damage, power outages, dangerous travel. Even the Ohio Valley and Northeast could see 50 to 60 mile per hour gusts as the system tracks through. Not quite as extreme, but still significant. Punch 2, severe weather. Thursday afternoon into evening, severe thunderstorms will develop across the mid-Mississippi Valley and Ohio Valley. Warm air surging north, cold air diving south. Strong wind shear. Recipe for severe weather. Damaging wind gusts and thunderstorms could reach 60 miles per hour. That's on top of the non-thunderstorm winds. Double trouble. Tornadoes are possible. The risk is low, maybe 5 to 10%. But in December, any tornado risk is noteworthy. This is not typical. Punch 3. Temperature whiplash. Thursday brings warmth. 50s and 60s across the Midwest, 70s in the South. Friday morning, back to freezing. Teens and 20s, the swing will be dramatic. 30 to 40 degree drops in 12 hours. This kind of volatility stresses infrastructure. Bursts, pipes, cracks pavement, causes problems beyond just discomfort. Punch 4. Another cold shot. But this one is brief. Saturday and Sunday bring cold air to the upper Midwest. Negative temperatures possible Saturday morning. But it doesn't last. By Monday, warmth returns. And this time, it stays. The wind forecast deserves special attention. Wednesday through Friday will see sustained high winds across huge portions of the country. Wednesday, winds increase across the Pacific Northwest. Gusts 40 to 50 miles per hour. Combined with heavy rain, trees will fall, power will go out. Thursday, peak wind day. Northern plains see 60 to 70 mile per hour gusts. That's severe criteria. That's damaging, possibly destructive. Friday, winds shift east. Great Lakes and Northeast experience 40 to 60 mile per hour gusts. Still dangerous, still disruptive. This multi-day high wind event will cause cumulative damage. Day 1 knocks down some trees. Day 2 knocks down more. Day 3, the weakened trees that survived days 1 and 2 finally give up. Power outages could last days in some areas. Restoration is hard when winds keep blowing. Crews can't work safely in 60 mile per hour winds. Travel will be treacherous. High-profile vehicles especially at risk. Semis could overturn. RVs could flip. Stay off the roads if possible Thursday. Airlines will preemptively cancel flights. Chicago, Minneapolis, Milwaukee, Detroit, all major hubs will see disruptions. Delays and cancellations will ripple nationwide. If you're traveling Thursday, reconsider. If you must travel, have backup plans. Expect problems. The severe weather threat for Thursday is significant enough to warrant its own discussion. Setup. Warm, moist air from the Gulf collides with cold, dry air from Canada. The collision happens over Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, and Kentucky. Timing: Thursday afternoon into evening. Peak risk between 2 p.m. and 8 p.m. local time. Threats: damaging winds, primary concern. 60-mile-per-hour gusts and thunderstorms likely. Tornadoes possible but not probable. Heavy rain could cause flooding in urban areas. Most at risk: Mid-Mississippi Valley and Ohio Valley. Cities like St. Louis, Louisville, Indianapolis, Cincinnati. What to do? Have multiple ways to receive warnings. Know your shelter location. Interior room. Lowest floor. Away from windows. Basic severe weather safety. The tornado threat is low but not zero, and in December, that's unusual. Most years, December sees maybe 1 or 2 tornadoes nationwide. This setup could produce several. The warm air will be impressive. Dew points in the 60s. That's Gulf Coast moisture in December in the Midwest. Extraordinary. Instability will be present. Cape values could reach 500 to 1,000. Not extreme by spring standards, but significant for December. Wind shear will be strong. Upper-level winds screaming at 100+ miles per hour. Surface winds from the south at 20 to 30. That difference creates rotation potential. All the ingredients are there. It just depends on how they come together. Storm mode will determine impacts. Organized line of storms, damaging winds widespread. Discrete supercells, tornado risk increases. Either way, Thursday afternoon requires attention if you're in the Ohio Valley. Beyond this storm, beyond this weekend, the pattern becomes remarkably consistent. Warm, stable, boring for most areas. Southern states will see daily highs in the 60s, 70s, and 80s through Christmas. Northern states will be in the 30s, 40s, and 50s, still above average, but not extreme. Record threats are highest December 20th through 26th. Multiple locations could set or tie daily temperature records. Here are some cities to watch. These projections are aggressive, but within the realm of possibility. Phoenix could hit high 80s or even 90 degrees. Current record is 83. This could fall. Mid to upper 80s possible. Records in jeopardy. Houston upper 80s could approach 90. That would be remarkable for December. Atlanta mid 70s. Not record-breaking, but very warm for Christmas week. Chicago mid 60s possible. That would be near record territory. New York low 60s. Above average, but not record-setting. These aren't guarantees. Weather models can be wrong, but the signal is strong. Multiple models show similar solutions. Confidence is high in general warmth, less confident in specific record breaks. The GFS model has been most aggressive with warm temperatures. It shows some absurd scenarios: 80-degree Christmas in Dallas, 70 degrees in Chicago. I'm skeptical of the extremes. The European model is more conservative. Still warm, just not quite as dramatic. I trust the European more for extended forecasts. Either way, this will be a top 5 warm Christmas for many locations. Maybe top 3, possibly number 1 in some spots. White Christmas? Forget it. Unless you're in the northern Rockies or northern Minnesota, you're not seeing snow on December 25th. Even areas that currently have snow will lose it. Mid-December, warmth melts snow fast. By Christmas, most of the Midwest will be brown. Snow lovers will hate this pattern. Ski resorts in the Rockies better hope they're above that rain-snow line. Lower elevation resorts could struggle. But for most people, this pattern means easier travel, lower heating bills, outdoor activities possible. There are benefits. The precipitation forecast shows the West Coast getting hammered while most other areas stay dry. Next 7 days, 3 to 6 feet of snow in the Cascades and northern Rockies, 10 inches plus rainfall along the coast, minor precipitation elsewhere. Week 2, more of the same. Pacific Northwest stays wet. Mountain snow continues. Everywhere else, mostly dry. Through Christmas, pattern persists. West wet, east dry. Classic split pattern? The only wild card is whether storm energy ejects from the west coast into the plains. If that happens, we could see storm systems develop over the Midwest. Right now, models don't show that clearly. The pattern favors energy staying along the coast, but we'll watch for changes. Early January outlook remains warm. Arctic oscillation stays positive. Cold air stays bottled up in Canada. United States continues above average. This could be the mildest December to January period in years for most of the country. Possible top 10, maybe top 5. Energy implications are significant. Lower heating demand means lower natural gas usage. Prices respond. Good for consumers, challenging for producers. Electric utilities will see reduced demand. That's good for grid reliability, bad for revenue. Agriculture benefits from mild winter. Livestock stress reduced. Soil workable longer. Planting season could start early. But there are downsides. Insects don't die off. Disease pressure remains. Warm winters have consequences. The economic impact of this pattern shift is substantial. Retail sales benefit from mild weather. People shop more when weather cooperates. Travel industry benefits. Easier driving, fewer flight delays. Holiday travel runs smoother. But winter sports industry suffers. Ski resorts, snowmobile manufacturers, ice fishing operations all take a hit. Weather drives economy more than people realize. This pattern shift affects billions of dollars of economic activity. For individuals, the impacts are straightforward. Lower heating bills, easier commutes, more outdoor time, less snow removal. For communities, impacts vary. Northern communities that rely on winter tourism will struggle. Southern communities will barely notice. It's just another warm stretch. Public health implications are mixed. Fewer slip and fall injuries on ice. Fewer cases of hypothermia. That's good. But flu season could be worse. Warmer weather keeps people indoors together. Viruses spread easier. That's bad. Air quality could suffer. Temperature inversions trap pollution. Warm, stagnant air allows smog to build. Cities could see air quality alerts. It's a complex pattern with winners and losers. Preparation steps vary by location and the specific threats you face. Pacific Northwest and Northern California. Flood preparations critical. No evacuation routes. Stock emergency supplies. Monitor river levels. Have backup power. This is serious. Northern Plains and Upper Midwest. Prepare for Thursday's high wind event. Secure loose items. Stock supplies in case of power outages. Avoid travel Thursday if possible. Friday morning brings dangerous cold and wind chills. Ohio Valley monitor for severe weather Thursday afternoon. Multiple alert methods. No shelter location. Watch for rapid temperature changes. Southern states. Enjoy mild weather. No major preparations needed. Good week for outdoor projects. Northeast. Friday brings wind and rain. Minor event overall. Some power outages possible from wind. Everyone, adjust to temperature swings. Dress appropriately. Check on vulnerable neighbors during cold periods. The messaging around this pattern is important. Yes, it's warm. Yes, records could fall. But this isn't climate change discussion. This is weather pattern discussion. Weather patterns fluctuate. We get warm Decembers, we get cold Decembers. This happens to be a warm one. The pattern is driven by the Arctic oscillation going positive. That's a known, studied phenomenon. It happens. We can forecast it. We can explain it. Will climate change make these patterns more common? That's a different discussion for a different time. Right now, we're focused on what's happening this December and what it means for you. Final timeline summary, because repetition helps retention. Monday and Tuesday, cold, dangerous wind chills, last Arctic blast for a while. Wednesday, transition day, storm organizing. Cold begins retreating. Thursday, high impact day, destructive winds, severe weather possible, temperature extremes. Avoid travel in affected areas. Friday, storm exits. Another cold shot but brief. Dangerous wind chills, upper Midwest. Weekend, pattern shift complete. Warm south, cool north. This becomes the new normal. Christmas week, warm. Dry for most. Continued flooding west coast. Records possible. White Christmas, unlikely. New Year's week, more of the same. Pattern stays locked. Early January, warmth continues. Arctic air stays in Canada. Above average temperatures persist. The key message is Thursday. That's your high-impact day. That's when multiple threats converge. That's when you need to be most alert. Before Thursday, prepare. During Thursday, take shelter as needed. After Thursday, recover and settle into the new pattern. This is a significant pattern shift. Not common, not typical, but not unprecedented either. We've seen similar setups before. They produce warm, extended periods. This one looks particularly robust, particularly long-lasting. The atmosphere is about to demonstrate its versatility. Extreme cold Monday, destructive winds Thursday, record warmth Christmas, all within 2 weeks. That's the power and variability of weather. Never boring, always changing, forever fascinating. Stay informed, stay prepared. Weather waits for no one. Next forecast will dive deeper into the Christmas week specifics and the early January outlook. We'll be watching for any pattern changes that could bring cold back. Right now, none are evident, but we'll keep monitoring. For now, survive the next few cold days, prepare for Thursday's storm, then enjoy the warmth. This is one of the more dramatic pattern shifts we'll see all winter. Make the most of it, stay safe through the transition, and we'll see you in the next update.